right, rugby fans, welcome back for another deep dive. This time we're looking at the Springboks in Scotland.
Yeah.
Facing off. And we're going to use this article to kind of get into the nitty-gritty of this matchup. And one of the biggest things that jumps out right away is, can Scotland break this 14-year losing streak against the reigning world champs? It's quite a long time.
It is a long time.
I mean, they did just take down Fiji, which is no small feat. But as we all know, the Springboks are a whole other beast.
Different beast altogether, yeah.
So to help us break down all of this, we have with us a rugby expert. So welcome.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so we touched on this a little bit, but the Springboks have historically dominated Scotland. I mean, we're talking 5 wins for Scotland since 1906.
Yeah.
It's 23 for the Springboks.
Yeah.
Out of 28 matches.
That's a pretty dominant record. And I think you touched on something really important, which is the psychological aspect of this. You know, when you go into a match with a team that's had that level of dominance over you for so long, it's bound to have an impact on your mindset, whether you're consciously thinking about it or not.
Right.
So I think that's going to be a big factor.
So this article gave Scotland a 6 out of 10 on the difficulty scale. And that's not just some arbitrary number. There are reasons behind that. So can you tell us what contributes to that?
Well, I think one of the most obvious factors is the rankings. You know, South Africa is fresh off a World Cup win. They're ranked number 2 in the world. Scotland is sitting at number 7.
Okay.
And then you have the fact that Scotland is missing some key players, which is always going to make things tougher.
So they're already at a disadvantage in those regards.
It's absolutely.
Now, I did want to touch on Scotland's recent win against Fiji. Adam Hastings had a pretty stellar game. He racked up 17 points. So is that something that Scotland can carry into this match?
Well, it's definitely a positive sign. You know, Hastings showed some real flashes of brilliance, but we do have to remember that Fiji was missing some of his top players in that match as well. And Scotland's defense, while it held up, did show some vulnerabilities. Oh. You know, Fiji still managed 3 tries. Against a team like the Springboks, those kinds of defensive lapses could be fatal.
I see. The article talks about the Springboks' level of quality.
Yeah.
And almost like it's this insurmountable wall. So what is it that makes them so formidable?
Well, it's a combination of factors. You know, they have this incredible physicality, especially in their forwards. Those guys are just relentless. They're constantly gaining ground. They're wearing down the opposition. Yeah. It's like trying to push a boulder uphill. Yeah. You know, that's what facing the Springbok forwards feels like. And then their defense is just so well organized. Yeah. They suffocate you. They don't give you any space.
Right.
It's incredibly difficult to break them down.
That makes sense. Now, they last met during last year's World Cup, which the Springboks won 18-3.
Yeah.
So what can we learn from that match?
Well, I think that match was a perfect example of the Springboks style of play. They controlled the tempo, they dominated the set pieces, and they just completely shut down Scotland's attack. Scotland barely had a sniff of the try line.
I see. So based on all of this, the article predicts a Springboks win by 10 to 15 points. Do you agree with that assessment?
You know, it's always tough to make predictions in rugby, but I think it's fair to say that the Springboks are the favorites going into this match. They have the experience, they have the momentum, and they have a proven track record against Scotland. But you know, rugby is a funny game. Upsets can happen, individual brilliance can change the course of a match, so you never really know what's going to happen until that final whistle blows.
That is true. That's the beauty of this sport. So for everyone listening at home, what do you think? Will Scotland be able to pull off a miracle? Or will the Springboks continue their reign? Think about it. The weight of history is on Scotland's shoulders. The Springboks have this incredible aura of invincibility. But maybe Scotland can find a way to break through. We've seen upsets before, so anything is possible. What do you think is going to happen? Can Scotland flip the script and break free from the shackles of history? Or will the Springboks' power and experience prove to be too much? We can't wait to find out. It's going to be an epic match. Until next time, enjoy the game.